The Don himself, Big Ange Postecoglou, has given an interview with the aim of calming down those Spurs fans who fear we're being left behind in the transfer market. Meanwhile, is Italian playmaker Federico Chiesa on his way to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium? And as I predicted, it looks like Kieran Trippier wants to leave Newcastle to go to Saudi Arabia for one last big payday. All this and more in today's episode of Daily Premier League Transfer News with me, Barnaby Slater. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Please, as ever, do press that like button. Press subscribe. If you haven't already subscribed, please do press subscribe. I'm near 10,000 subscribers. Want to get there soon. I'm at 9,300. So if you haven't subscribed, please do press that subscribe button and the bell button so you know when my daily videos come in. But let's get started. And Ali Gold has been interviewing Big Ange Postecoglou out in Japan before tomorrow's first Asian tour friendly. He asked him about transfers. In essence, Big Ange said that intended targets at the start of the window have not changed. And it's about patience, as they don't want to sign anyone else instead. So here are the quotes. Ange says, at this time of year, it's pretty hard for supporters because they don't have all the information, and it's fair to say there's plenty of misinformation out there. We're working hard to bring players in, and it's a process that you sometimes have to be patient with. But in terms of what we set out to do, that's still the plan, and you have to stay disciplined with that. Sometimes the timings don't work out, and it doesn't happen as quickly as you want, and you don't get them in at the right time. But I think it's really important you stay disciplined and not run off and chase other things. So what we started with at the start of the summer is still there, and I wouldn't want to put timelines on it. A lot of that is out of our control, and we just need to be patient. From where I sit at the moment, we're still in that phase where what we identified is still what we're after. Really fascinating quote for me, from Ange for me. Not dissimilar to kind of what I suggested in yesterday's video, actually, which is that I think Spurs' one big marquee signing is still an option. I think that might well be Eberechi Eze. I think maybe he's agreed to the deal, and that Crystal Palace are looking for replacements. And that, I think, is when Ange talks about the timings, that's what he's talking about. There's no doubt, and a lot of people in the comments have been saying this, of course they have, there's no doubt that Ange Postecoglou wanted players in before pre-season started. Of course he did. Antonio Conte wanted the same. And actually, in that summer where Daniel Levy managed to raise a bit of money out of a kind of a bond deal, we did actually get our players in a little bit earlier than usual. However, because of the Euros, because of the Copa America, and I think more importantly, as Ange is suggesting there, because other clubs are not at the right time to do the deals, then we're going to have to wait a little bit longer. We're going to have to be a little bit more patient. But for me, let me know what you think in the comments. But for me, it's very exciting that Ange Postecoglou knows exactly who he wanted, and he thinks those transfer deals are still there to be done. And that can only be because the players have agreed to come to Spurs. He's spoken to them already, and it's about the clubs trying to find replacements and trying to make it happen on their end. That's what I think. As I said, let me know in the comments. Ange Postecoglou was also asked about Yang Min-hyuk, our new South Korean signing, as to whether it's definitely going to happen. He says, I'm well aware of the quality of the K-League. Korean players have made a fantastic impact across Europe. And when he was asked more specifically about Yang Min-hyuk, he apparently just smiled and said, I can't talk about anyone else's player, but it's definitely happening. We've had a here we go from Fabrizio Romano, and all the rumours are that that deal will be announced on the South Korean leg of our Asian tour. As I mentioned at the top, big rumours yesterday that Federico Chiesa could be coming to Spurs. Apparently, he has chosen the Premier League, and there have been some contacts between Juventus and Spurs. However, other journalists getting involved as well, saying despite the latest rumours, there are no bids from Tottenham or Chelsea for Chiesa as of now. The winger could leave during the summer transfer window. Juventus are open to him leaving, and they want 20 million euros for him. The Juventus manager, Thiago Motta, was asked about Chiesa. He said, for now, he's a Juventus player. Then we will see. The Juventus plan remains the same. Club and manager both approved Chiesa leaving this summer, and Juventus want to get that 20 million euros in for a profit. What do you guys think of Federico Chiesa? I've been trawling a lot of the journalists and a lot of the kind of podcasters, Spurs fan podcasters, who I really rate, and there's a little bit of, I don't know, what would I call it? A little bit of different opinions. Obviously, a lot of people see what a brilliant player Federico Chiesa has been on the ball, but they're also saying that over the last year or two, potentially his form has dropped off. And would he be the top level Federico Chiesa if he came to Spurs? Some who I really rate suggest potentially not. But a lot of you in the comments are really keen, I know, on getting Chiesa in. Let me know if that's still a deal that you think we should be doing at about 20 million euros. Seems like a bit of a no-brainer to me. But, who knows? Like I've said before, it does take foreign players often quite a long time to acclimatise to the Premier League. Not everyone can step in from their first game from abroad and make it happen like, say, Rafa van der Vaart did, or Mickey van der Ven even has done for Spurs. So I'm excited at the prospect of Federico Chiesa, but if it doesn't happen, it wouldn't kind of be the end of the world, because there is some kind of back and forth on whether he's really at the top of his game. As I mentioned in yesterday's video, Tottenham did end up playing a Japan Youth International side in a behind closed doors friendly. That was kind of mainly to give some of the younger players a few more minutes. We won 5-2, 2 goals for Will Lancashire, 2 goals for our wonder kid Mikey Moore, and another goal for Alejo Veliz, which I think is good news because he's looked a little off it when he's been given minutes for Spurs so far, and we did invest quite a lot of money in him. I think kind of upwards of maybe even more than that, but £9 million. And obviously we sent him out on loan to Seville last year, and he did not get any minutes. So we need Veliz to really start showing what he has to offer Spurs going forward. Ali Gold also spoke a bit more about the game. Said the game was against Japan under-20s. It was an hour long due to the heat. Mostly the under-21s getting minutes from the Spurs squad. As I said, 2 goals for Will Lancashire, 2 for Mikey Moore, and 1 for Alejo Veliz. Some more transfer rumours. Brentford's plans to let Tottenham and West Ham target Ivan Toney leave the club could be shelved now because his replacement, Igor Thiago, suffered an injury in pre-season. Some quotes attributed to James Maddison this pre-season about what he thinks Spurs can and should be doing this season. He says, "We need to strive to have more than a good season. We want silverware and we want to make history. We've benefited from having a year under the manager and now we can kick on." Look, it's been good to see James Maddison back to his confident best in these first 2 pre-season friendlies. I'll be doing the watch-along for tomorrow's game starting at 11 a.m. That watch-along will be on We Are Tottenham TV. If you don't subscribe to We Are Tottenham TV, make sure you do. I'll be presenting that watch-along on my own. So come and watch it, get in the comments, and I'll talk to you during the game. Meanwhile, some more reports about former Spurs target Desiree Doué. I think we're all very keen to get Desiree Doué in, but Bayern Munich and PSG are looking like they're going to gazump Tottenham. PSG apparently now, according to L'Equipe, have submitted a new offer of 60 million euros, including bonuses. So, very sad that it doesn't look like Doué will be coming to Spurs, but a very exciting young player. According to Fabrizio Romano, Sergio Reguilon loved his time on loan at Manchester United last season, and he would be keen to return. However, there's nothing concrete. For me, that sounds like agent talk. It sounds like Sergio Reguilon's agent sniffing about everywhere, trying to get him a club. I don't think he's going to be going back to Manchester United. I mean, frankly, they didn't even extend his loan past January last season, did they? So it'd be very surprising to me if they took him back on loan. And Reguilon, who's been left out of the Asia Tour to try and find a new club, is not really finding one at the moment. But as I've said before, if Spurs can get, somewhere towards £10 million for Reguilon, get him off the books and put that towards the budget for more incomings. Meanwhile, some rare good news in the world of football. Fulham, Ryan Sessegnon's old club, have agreed to sign him as a free agent. That is a definite deal that's happening. Obviously, Sessegnon was let go by Spurs because his injury record has been so poor. He's lost all his confidence, but there is a player in there, and I say good luck to him going back to his former club. He's been training at Crystal Palace for a few weeks, but Fulham have gone in there. Marco Silva's gone in there and thought, why not? He's done it here before. He'll have the confidence of playing at Craven Cottage, and he's still a versatile, very talented young player, and if he can get fit, I think he could be a really excellent signing on a free for Fulham. And I, for one, am looking forward to seeing how he does at Craven Cottage this season. Before I move on to some other more wide-ranging Premier League transfer news, guys, once again, thank you so much for watching and listening. Please do press that like button. It helps the video get up the algorithm and seen by more people. Also, if you haven't already, press subscribe. I want to get to 10,000 subscribers. I'm on 9,300. Press subscribe for me and press that bell button so you get a notification every time my content comes in. Also, you can become a member. It's only £1 a month and it really helps me, supports me to make this content for you. All the details on how to become a member are in the description box below. Let's start at Man United though. Aaron Wan-Bissaka has apparently turned down West Ham because he favours a move to Inter Milan. I've said about Wan-Bissaka numerous times, very good defensively, but not great going forward. So that could suit a move to Serie A where the football is a little bit more defensive. One idea is that Wan-Bissaka goes to Inter and Denzel Dumfries could join Manchester United in a swap. That deal is being discussed by intermediaries according to David Ornstein. Great journalist when it comes to transfers. Make sure you follow him if you don't already. Also at Man United and Everton, Jared Branthwaite has no intention apparently of signing a new contract at Everton this summer unless they can match the £160,000 a week contract offer that Manchester United have offered him. Well, let me tell you now, Everton will not be offering that. They will not match £160,000 a week, and I think Jared Branthwaite and his representatives know that, and so they are angling for a move away. Man United have obviously invested again in their centre-backs already, so I'm not sure if they're going to go for Jared Branthwaite because they're also still in for Matthias de Ligt from Ajax, former Ajax player, from Bayern Munich. So I'm not sure if Branthwaite will get that move this summer, but I don't think it would do him any harm to have another season as the first choice centre-back at Everton to raise his profile, and maybe he can get even more money and bigger transfer deal next summer. Over to Man City, they've made an offer to sign the brilliant 26-year-old midfielder Dani Olmo from Red Bull Leipzig. He had a brilliant Euros. However, Barcelona are also chasing Olmo and have bid an initial £40 million, which would be spread over 4 payments, plus another $20 million in add-ons. But Leipzig have rejected that offer. Apparently, according to Sky Sports in Germany, it falls well below their expectations. So I thought Olmo was going to be coming to Britain, but obviously other clubs, Barcelona, are looking to get him in. But could we see Olmo in a Manchester City shirt? They usually buy up the best talent, so it wouldn't surprise me at all. Staying at the Etihad Stadium, Ederson was affected. This is apparently a story as to why Ederson is keen to move to Saudi Arabia. He was affected apparently by the praise that his replacement Stefan Ortega got when he made that save one-on-one against Sonny in the game at the back end of last season. That save that basically won Manchester City the title and stopped Arsenal from winning the Premier League. There were apparently, after that, suggestions from the Man City fans on social media that Ederson would not have saved it and he didn't like the sound of it and as a result wants to move to Saudi Arabia. I mean, it's all tittle-tattle, isn't it? And if it is like that, that's ridiculous. My personal opinion is if he wants to move to Saudi Arabia, it's probably just for the sweet, sweet bicker. Kevin De Bruyne is reportedly, though, ready to turn his back on a £150 million plus contract from Saudi Arabia in order to keep his children in Manchester and stay at Man City. Good for you, Kevin De Bruyne, if that is the truth. I don't think those players who've been playing at Man City for, nearly a decade need any more money necessarily. Liverpool have been told they'll need to submit a £50 million bid to land Juventus and Brazilian defender Bremer. He's 27 years old, so it'll be interesting to see if they're willing to go that high. Meanwhile, over at Chelsea, Kepa Arrizabalaga, can you believe it? He's still at Chelsea, but he could switch places with Real Madrid's 25-year-old Ukrainian keeper, Andriy Lunin, in a swap deal between the two clubs this summer. That's according to AS over in Madrid. Aston Villa are monitoring Borussia Dortmund and Germany winger Karim Adeyemi. 22 years old, he's also attracted interest from Juventus and Chelsea. And some interesting news coming out from Newcastle at the moment. They are finding it very difficult, not dissimilar to Spurs, who still have a few bits of dead wood to get out, about 6 players they need to get out, but Newcastle are finding it very difficult to offload certain players this summer. Apparently, Ryan Fraser, he wants $3 million contract payoff to leave. Jamal Lewis, there's been no interest for, so a loan is most likely. Matt Target, high wages, so no one's interested in him. Miguel Almiron, there has been some interest from Saudi clubs, but the player wants to stay at Newcastle or stay in Europe. The only clubs that are willing to pay the €25 million fee that he is rated at by Newcastle are Saudi clubs. And as I mentioned at the top, Kieran Trippier has interest in him from Saudi Arabian clubs, but he wants to stay potentially in Europe, and he likes the idea of a Tottenham reunion with Eric Dyer and Harry Kane if Bayern Munich are willing to put a bid in for him. My personal opinion on that is maybe that's a move Bayern Munich would have made last season under Thomas Tuchel, but I think under Vincent Kompany he'll probably be looking for more, pacey, progressive, quick younger players at the fullback areas. Over at West Ham, Bayern Munich and West Ham, according to Sky Germany, have reached agreement for the transfer of Nusayr Mazraoui, and Bournemouth have a big signing themselves. Dean Huijsen from Juventus. It's a here we go from Fabrizio Romano. Verbal agreement in place, 18 million euros plus a sell-on clause. He's agreed a long-term deal with Bournemouth, only a medical to follow. Juventus plan to spend some of that money on Jean-Claire Todibo, who of course West Ham had a bid accepted for last week, but looks like he wants to go to Juventus instead. And finally, over in South London at Arsenal, they apparently have opened talks with Paris Saint-Germain about Spanish midfielder Fabian Ruiz, who had a great Euros as well. But a move would require the Gunners to offload a player. Maybe that's why Emil Smith-Rowe and Reece Nelson are being farmed out, kind of touted around for moves to other clubs. Guys, happy Friday. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Once again, press the like button if you haven't already. Please do press subscribe. I want to get to 10,000 subscribers. Press that subscribe button and become a member. All the details in the description box below. Only £1 a month really helps me make this content for you. Have a brilliant weekend. Cheers.